With a cup of hot chocolate in your hand and a cozy blanket over your lap, the only thing that can make the holidays any better is a good movie to bring you someplace else entirely. Number 10.
私も日の出と同じで思ったことがうまく言えなくて、だから。
ネト、お前は違うんだよ。
Pouncing first into our list, we have A Whisker Away. Centering around Muge, A Whisker Away revolves around her, to put it lightly, rocky attempts at getting her crush Hinode to notice her. But like all the rest in this list, there is way more to unpack in this movie's runtime. A broken family with an overly caring stepmom, a giant cat salesman that may just give you nightmares if you aren't careful. It's just a masterful blend of both fantastical elements and grounded realism that instead of stepping over each other, all work together to make an amazingly entertaining and profound film that is nothing but a treat to watch on a cozy Christmas holiday. While having beautiful visuals and always fun characters, the film itself also respects and appreciates viewer intelligence with great pacing and only the necessary sprinkling of information.
この橋の向こうに見えるのが猫島。
橋？
手離すと落ちるから。
In my personal viewing, I couldn't even ignore the possibility that Muge herself is a character that may suffer from autism. And while that may have you either intrigued or cautious, I am happy to say that it is wonderfully handled, and a prime example of the film not slapping you over the face with information. I don't believe it's ever mentioned by any other character, and it just adds another layer of depth to Muge's character, which makes it all the more rewarding to follow along. Now, I do have to admit the ending could have used maybe just a bit more time in the oven. Nevertheless, it's a fantastic watch that tickles the imagination and challenges introspection. So why not add it to the rest of the many wonderful things you look forward to this holiday season?
日の出は素敵な人です。私、前は世界の滅亡を毎日祈ったこともあった。
Number 9.
私、怖いの。怖い。大丈夫。二人でいれば大丈夫よ。よく頑張ったよ。マーニー。
Rowing next into our list, we have When Marnie Was There. Easily my favorite Studio Ghibli movie. When Marnie Was There features a girl named Hana who suffers from a mysterious illness called anxiety and intrusive thoughts. After moving from the city to the sticks, she starts seeing an elegant blonde beauty in a supposedly abandoned marsh house. Rich with visuals we've come to expect with Ghibli Studios, this film also provides a story that goes full circle and doesn't leave you guessing. Unlike some other Ghibli films, I'm personally not the biggest fan of Ghibli, as I'm quite a modern child, but I have to say I was pleasantly swooned by the heavy character-driven journey this film gave me. Even with all the bitterness in my heart after A Certain Boy and Heron, I was met with a tender need to embrace those I loved after getting done with this movie. Whether you're alone or with those you love, this film is a treat for the holiday season. Quite similar to the previous entry, it inspires me to appreciate the little things that make me special and try to give a bit more love to those who have been there with me all along. Absolutely a must-see film for any anime fan.
上手よ。でも、まだあなたの名前も知らない。
Number 8. Leaping through time, we have Hello World. One part romance, another part, something else. Hello World revolves around professional extra Naomi Katagaki in the very distant future that is 2027. Good lord, time flies. If you're in for a cozy, warm, and straightforward romance, get comfy cause this movie has that in spades. In terms of pure building of romance, I think this entry stands head and shoulders above any other on this list. And yes, I think A Whisker Away could have done without the full circle romance.
私もそう生きたい。そうありたいと思うのです。
僕は
Going back to this though, Rori Ichigyo is just a picture-perfect kudere, and it's hard not to follow along with Naomi's falling into love. I mean, even he couldn't help it, and he was being backseated by his future self the whole time. Oh yeah, speaking of which, like it or hate it, the story of this film is not solely a school romance. You see, after Naomi and Ruri finally realize mutual love, Ruri is hit with lightning and is declared brain dead. This prompts Naomi to go on a path of pure willpower that even the likes of Kirito would be jealous of, as he literally uploads himself into a virtual world. Although instead of swords and magic, this virtual world is just the same thing, but in the past. All this is made possible by Alltale, which has the storage capacity of an infinite amount of SSDs. Well, basically there's a lot of meat to this meat pie. I can personally vouch that even if you aren't too interested in reality hopping and world bending, the romance that is the beating heart of this movie is more strong enough to keep any anime fan engaged. So why not start this holiday season with a Hello World?
片垣直美さん、彼女が欲しい？
Number 7. Making a poetic entrance into this list, we have Worlds Bubble Up Like Soda Pop. Right, cheerful, and not short of a haiku or two. Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop is a feel-good story centering around the unlikely pair of Yui Sakura and Yuki Hoshino. Yui is the dude, by the way, and he's as shy as he can be. Relying on haiku, he posts on Twitter for some social satisfaction. The extroverted opposite side of the coin is Yuki Hoshino, who is an internet influencer who wants to make everyone smile. Through destiny that can only be found on a TV screen, the two end up intertwined in each other's secrets and passions.
何？
リプ送りなって。もうジュリちゃん。あ、フォローされたよ。
Eventually, they end up working part-time in the same nursing home and even get involved in helping an old senile reconnect with a long-forgotten past. If all wasn't enough, Yui is also dealing with some personal issues, with his family planning to move out of town. This is a problem because he just got himself a waifu and was covering pretty good ground on the relationship front. Nevertheless, the movie is a perfect, refreshing watch that's filled with amazing color both visually and in terms of character personality. If you want some romance this Christmas, this is exactly the movie from this list that you should definitely not miss out on.
チェリーさん、やっぱりチェリーくんかな。ね。さっきから何聞いてるんですか？
いや、大きい音昔から苦手で。
Number 6.
暦。なんで無視するのよ、暦。
Shifting into the list, we have To Every You I've Loved Before. Possibly the strangest entry into this list, To Every You I've Loved Before and its partner film, To Me, The One Who Loved You, is a movie experience you just won't be able to find anywhere else. Maybe Hello World can give it a run for its money, but the amount of parallel world hopping and time shifting is definitely a whole other beast in this movie. Now, to be honest, this movie in particular is enough to stand on its own to a degree, as it does explain the events of To Me, The One Who Loved You, but they each give a very different feel.
君のせいじゃない。
私のせいよ。私があの子を殺してしまったの。暦だって
そう思ってるに決まってる。
For one, the love interest in both movies is different. In To Every You I Loved Before, the main character Koyomi pairs up with glasses girl Kazune. I won't bother mentioning the other love interest as it is a bit of a spoiler, but just know that the meta experience of having the option of two films definitely bleeds into the emotional weight of the film's narrative. All you really need to know is that these movies take place in a world where hopping into parallel worlds is as easy as making a wish to Santa, and time travel is just a matter of trying. While it can be challenging to watch, both films offer a very satisfying emotional conclusion, and you are rewarded for viewing both. That being said, after the relaxation of the holiday season, what better way to get the gears in your head running with romance, sci-fi, and a whole lot of drama. Feeling festive yet with these anime flicks? I'll always remember the time I watched A Whisker Away late at night with all my lights off, the cold breeze of my AC, and the chilly embrace of my blanket. How about you? Do you have a moment when you had watched a movie and just can't forget about it? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Oh, and if you're feeling the holiday spirit, why not consider blessing us with a super thanks for this video? It'll for sure get you off a naughty list or two. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share the video to spread the joy. Number 5. Making the cut into this list, we have Pompo the Cinéphile. One of my favorite entries on this list, Pompo the Cinéphile is a must-see for any fan of film or even just the creative process in general. The movie follows Gene Finney, who works as the assistant for the titular Pompo, a lover of movies and a big shot producer in Nollywood. The real movie starts though when Gene is all of a sudden given his dream opportunity, directing his very own film. Now, unlike many other movies with this hook, we aren't just here for the filming bit. As I hinted at the start, Pompo the Cinéphile is a love letter to filmmaking.
監督に感謝ね。ただし、ミスティアがこの作品に出てるのは内緒だからね。クレジットも偽名で出すから。
やっぱり役どころに不満が。
んや。
And that means the entire process, not just the glitz and glamour of acting. From editing footage to convincing investors, the movie is loaded to the brim with the happy and hard moments you may have not even considered in making films. All that being said, this movie is moving at 100 the whole way through. I would say it lacks that one moment of extended hardship, but personally I don't find that an issue at all. It focuses its energy on charming you as a viewer to the wonderful world of filmmaking. At times, it weaves together multiple perspectives to really hit home what it takes to make a dream happen. While our individual passion and work is what'll bring us to the opportunity, the magic at the end of it all can only be found in the people who are beside us, watching it all bear fruit.
自分で書こうと思ったんですが、一貫性出したくて。
まあ監督なんだからそのぐらい傲慢でわがままでないとね。
Number 4. Catching a ride on this bus ride, we have My Oni Girl. The second film on this list by Studio Colorido, My Oni Girl follows Hiragi, a stereotypical nice guy who doesn't get any respect even from himself. Thankfully for him, Suzume came out a couple years prior, so now he can go on a cross-country road trip with a character deeply ingrained in the mystical side of the world that's been hidden all along. And while I say that in jest, if you do happen to be a fan of the feel of Suzume, this is indeed quite similar. The main joy of this film is Hiragi and Tsumugi, traveling around and learning more about each other and other people's stories along the way.
鬼になったのね。お腹空いてない？何か食べようか。
All building up to a blossoming romance and a coming of age for both characters. a little bit weaker and less dramatic than A Whisker Away, if you're up for a good joyride of self-discovery and amazing views, don't be shy to give this one a try. It's easy to see yourself in Hiiragi, who just wants the best for everyone. But when it comes to living your life, only you can put your foot down and grab it. Or I guess you can just hope your Oni Girl comes sooner rather than later. Number 3.
大木くん魔法が消えたんだ。でも夢じゃないよね。あ
Bringing some magic into our list, we have Mary and the Witch's Flower. From the same director as When Marnie Was There, Mary and the Witch's Flower provides a much more familiar Ghibli experience, suited especially for the young ones. Following a young girl named Mary Smith, the movie figuratively and literally flies you all the way to magic school. After coming across some blue flowers and going into a forest you aren't supposed to, Mary finds herself forced into magical education, where she'd go on to be a prodigy. Or at least that's what it seemed like for a while. After a hefty time in school, Mary soon realizes she isn't as big as she was, and all along it was the flowers that were the apple to the teacher's eyes. A story of finding pride in your own identity and putting kindness in the forefront of your character. This is an excellent watch, especially with a younger audience. If you're a fan of Ghibli-style films and anime such as Little Witch Academia, then you can't possibly regret giving this one a shot. Personally, I think the visuals also go great in the backdrop of a cold, windy season like Christmas. Number 2. Being spirited away next into our list, we have Drifting Home. Giving Ghibli a run for his money, Drifting Home revolves around a group of kids who, after messing around in an abandoned building, gets spirited away along with it. Now, to those who have seen this Netflix anime flick, you may be hesitant to see how this fits in our list. After all, it features a bunch of kids being, well, kids. A lot of times, they're an annoying bunch who are stubborn and head first, but that's just a natural part of this fairy ride. Framed almost like a survival movie, most of the runtime is the kids figuring out how to survive and escape being stranded drifting in the middle of the ocean inside an abandoned building. Once you learn to appreciate the cast of characters though, what you have is a warm message about the importance of memories and people and places tied to them. In my opinion, it's just a great movie to see with your family, young and old. While there are some annoyances along the way, it adds to the laughs, and when the heartfelt moments go by, it does leave a lasting impression. This movie definitely got me appreciating life even more, moment to moment. After all, you never know when your memories will someday drift away. Number 1.
あれはなーにって聞いてるの。
ママ、何っていうより
Exceeding the imagination, the final entry on our list is The Imaginary. The Imaginary is a story about a little girl named Amanda who, through the power of her vivid imagination, spends time with her friend Roger. Of course, Roger isn't real, and so are the many fantastical journeys the pair of them go through in the comfort of their home. Being young and dumb though, Amanda's mother is accepting enough of her daughter's hyperactive imagination. Though, just like any real film, we need some family issues, so the story also tackles the rocky relationship between Amanda and her widowed mother. Now that everything that makes the usual plot is in place, enter Mr. Bunting, an evil-looking old dude who looks straight out of some Ghibli film. Along with his pocket Sawako, he goes around devouring imaginaries like Roger head first. Quite a disturbing image, to be honest. By the way, while Amanda and her backstory is interesting, I will have to let you know that she's pretty absent for most of the film, due to an accident early on to the movie. Roger is thrust into the spotlight as he learns more about the imaginary world and what exactly his purpose is as an imaginary. If you're a fan of Ghibli, I can only say that this film is a love letter to that type of magical lore and adventure. With bright and imaginative set pieces, the journey is simply a treat for the eyes, all wrapping around a pretty heartwarming end that reminds us never to forget those that have supported us, whether they're real or imaginary. And that's it for today's jolly video. I hope at least one of these entries ends up making your holiday season just that little bit better. Make sure to comment down below if you have any recommendations yourself and spread the love. Like and subscribe if you want to see more and share this video if you can. You never know how much something can mean to someone else. Till next time, we wish you a happy holiday.